Hi. Hi.
Yeah, good to finally see you face to face. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Um, it's a pleasure that you are taking this time, to do this interview because there's a lot of things out here that people do not know about the situation with ICE and detention centers, and I'm glad that you're here to share some light because without us being able to shed light, people wouldn't know, and people think that what they see in the news and what they hear, it don't happen to, it only happen to criminals.
Yeah.
And we here to share the light to show that it's affecting normal people and normal hardworking people in the society. And I tell people, we all came to America for a better life, a better opportunity. And this administration is depriving a lot of people and affecting a lot of families. And I just want to be able to shed some light on that, and and let people know that there's a lot of people out here that's it ruins people's lives, and and we need to spread the word out here so this thing can stop. You know.
Yeah, you're definitely right. A lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, like they're taking the criminals," and they're just stereotyping all of us now that everybody that they're taking is a criminal. But that's definitely a lie. We definitely know, me and you definitely know that that's not true. And the worst thing right now is that ICE, Chorus, the people from Chorus Civic, the guards, they're all denying everything that we're saying. It doesn't benefit them that for them to say that it's true what we're saying, but it actually is, and people are not going to know that it's true until we start speaking up, start speaking out, start speaking up about what exactly is going on in these detention centers right now.
Absolutely, and absolutely. Now let's start. Take it back. Well, first you can introduce yourself, so let people know who you are and where you residing at right now.
Yeah, I'm Allison Bustillo. I'm 21 years old now. And FBI raided my home on the 20th of February of 2025. They came in my apartment looking for someone else that previously used to live there before. That person used to live there before, and they came into my house. They broke my door and took me, my brother, and my mother. They released them and took me to a jail. From the jail, I was taken to Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia. I spent 7 months in there without due process. I wasn't able to even see the medical help. And my case got all over the news, and that's when people started realizing that my case was a bigger issue. And I was finally able to ask for voluntary departure, even though I wasn't available for one. I was able to go to court, my very first and last court after 7 months of being detained. And I was able to ask for the voluntary departure, and I am back in Honduras after 13 years of living in the U.S. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. And all right, let's take things back. Tell me a bit about your background and where you was living before you encountered ICE. Like, how was it? Or what year did you come to the U.S.? When did you come to the U.S.?
I actually came I was 8 years old. My mother and my brother fled Honduras in this violence and the economic issues. I left when I was 8 years old. We came into the U.S. With a humanitarian parole. We were paroled in back when Obama was president. So that was around 2013, I think. Like I said, I was 8 years old, so I really can't remember much, but I we moved to North Carolina. I grew up in a very small town called Shelby, North Carolina. I grew up there, went to school, graduated high school. I also did community college. I did have the opportunity to become a nurse, certified nursing assistant. At the time of the raid, I was living in Charlotte. I had moved from Shelby to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I was living there in a apartment complex.
Okay, okay. So came to America, did all the right things, went to school, graduated, living the American dream, started a career, and and oh man, so and let me get this straight, you don't have a criminal record.
I do not. No, I didn't even have a single traffic ticket. They actually printed out my record, and my ICE officer, he brought it to me, and I was like, wow, like, are you? I just like showed it to him. He showed it to me, and then I showed it back to him, and I was like, look at this. Absolutely not a single thing on this record.
Mm. And they still took you to the detention center.
They did, and the reason why was because I was over the age of 18. That's the only reason why they gave me, not because I had a deportation order or because I had a warrant for my arrest, or no. The only reason they gave me was because I was over the age of 18.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. And you actually said that they kicked in your door looking for somebody who wasn't even living there.
Yeah, yeah. They were looking for someone else, and not even someone from my nationality. The guy was actually Mexican. They literally, I asked for a search warrant 3 times, without opening the door. And they just told me that they were going to show it to me later, and that I didn't need to worry about anything. That they were not ICE, and that they were not going to harm me or my family. And yeah, they just knock the door or open the door with some type of tool. And there's actually photos of my door all over the news. And yeah, they just came in, and I was caring for my 3 younger siblings, one who has severe autism. And I mean, it was very horrifying, very scary. My little brother's now traumatized. He's going to therapy now. My other brother's going to therapy as well. So I mean, it was horrible. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare completely.
Yeah. Sorry about you having to relive that because I can't imagine they break in your door, break down your door to look for somebody that's not don't even live there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it seemed like they didn't have a warrant.
They did not. The crazy thing that makes me really upset now is that I did find out not too long ago, about like 3 months ago, that there was never a warrant for neither the person that they were looking for or for myself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there was never a warrant at all, and that just made me so upset when I heard about that. I literally I started crying. I started crying because it was very upsetting. The fact that they just they just took me. They took me, and they didn't even know what to do with me. I mean, it was just a mess, a total mess.
So pretty much just went on a goose chase and just
They did. Yeah.
oh wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. So by all that, so what was the reason they wanted to deport you? Like once you're in ICE custody, what was the reason they gave you?
They didn't give me anything. That's the thing. Like they did not tell me absolutely nothing. Like when I got to detention, the officer was like completely in shock. Like they didn't even know what to do with me. They didn't even know what to do with me. I mean, I wasn't even allowed to see the judge. I wasn't allowed to have bonds. They did classify me as an arriving alien, so that didn't even give me the opportunity for absolutely nothing, like no bonds. My attorney applied for the intern parole. They denied my parole because they said that since I wasn't eligible for the bond, I was a flight risk.
Good.
So yeah, they didn't even let me. They didn't even want to let me sign my voluntary departure because I wasn't eligible for one. They had not made me eligible for the voluntary departure. And then on top of that, I couldn't deport myself because I didn't have a deportation order.
So they just held. Oh my goodness. Because
Yeah,
I was in Stewart 15 months, and most every time somebody came in, it was something behind something they done. Either they was driving with no license, or got caught up at a they got caught up like either you drive with no license, driving on suspended license, or got caught up at their probation officer or something like that.
yeah,
It was never. It's my first time hearing that
yeah,
you
yeah,
just pick somebody up by going to their house accidentally. And most people when they come in, they have some kind of order. But me, I never had an order neither. They wrote my order at the same day. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's
so
what they did.
they wrote your
Yeah,
order the same day and
yeah,
just
yeah,
made up
yeah.
a reason to deport you.
Yeah. I mean, I literally have over 200 pages of my case, letters of recommendations. I even had a sponsorship. I had letters from church, letters from my principal, Warnock's office from Georgia. They even came in and visited me. Congress lady from North Carolina, maternity letters. My friends. I mean, it was like what else? Like I didn't even know. I got to the point where like I was so frustrated because I wouldn't even hear anything at all. Like they wouldn't even tell me, yeah, you're leaving, or yes, we're gonna deport you, or like absolutely nothing. I was just in there to be in there.
Oh wow.
And they would even tell me, they were like, we're confused, we don't know what to do with you. And like I'm like, well, what can I do? Like I'm so tired of being in here. Like you have to choose something.
Yeah.
And then I went to court, and then just hearing that the judge had no jurisdiction over my case, just, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it made me,
More furious. I understand that
yeah,
part because it's like when you go to court and you hear that, it's like, why do you even have judges if 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 the judge don't have no jurisdiction over a case, that it's not a felony case, it's not a misdemeanor case, it's not, it has nothing to do with criminal activity whatsoever. So, or why are you not even issuing this woman bond? It's like
yeah,
it's mind boggling to me because you were supposed to at least get a bond, especially you don't have no, you didn't do anything.
exactly. I didn't. And yeah, they wouldn't say absolutely a single thing to me. I mean, the judge didn't even get to see all those letters that those people wrote. All the, all the support. Like I didn't even get a chance to present none of that in court. I had one court and one court only, and that was like 7 months. It took them 7 months to give me a court date.
Yeah, and that's another thing because they always say, well, we can't hold nobody more than 6 months without them with first 90 days without them getting a hearing. And that lets you know that's just all talk.
Yeah.
It just
What was
talk.
very upsetting is that the system would keep generating courts. My very first court was actually the 20, I think it was like the 26th, 27th, around there of February. I didn't have my actual court until August the 15th, around there. So the system would keep generating court after court after court, and those courts never went through. Like I never got the chance to go actually to court until the August court
Wow.
hearing.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Yes.
what I hear a lot, and what I also be telling people is that it's like the judges are in on the act where they just holding you there to hold you there as long as possible and to make money off you. Like, because
Right.
you could have got to court the first month you was there. You could have got seen and had, yeah. And usually they tell you there's at least 4 hearings before your master hearing, and you saying you didn't get none of them. You just got one.
Nothing. I got one and one only, and on top of that, it was like all kinds of wrong because the first attorney that I hired, she said, "Yeah, you're definitely eligible for a bond." It was a lie. I had already been classified as the arriving alien, so that meant that I was not eligible for the bonds, and I go into court for the bond hearing, and then the judge is like, "I'm sorry, we can't give you a bond." And I literally broke into tears because I was already. I mean, it was. I think I was in there for like 3 months already when I had that court. And yeah, she was like, "I'm sorry." And then I'm like, "What's going on? Like, this is all new to me. Like I don't even know much about my case. I came here as an 8-year-old. I don't know what's going on. I had never been in that situation, and yeah, wasn't eligible for a bond, and the attorney didn't even let me know that I was not eligible for it.
Mm, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, because a lot of people been saying that a lot of these attorneys they 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 know you're not eligible for bond, but they'll take your case anyway and try to take your money
Yeah.
just so they can because they know they can do it. And that's
Yeah.
sad that you went through that. It's sad that you went through that because it seemed like the way I'm starting to understand this thing. It seems like it's like a free for all where everybody benefits but the immigrant.
Yeah.
And it's like it's free for the picking. The judges benefit, the county, the system, the court civic benefits, the lawyers benefit. So it's like deporting immigrants, whether it's the right thing or a wrong thing, or whether they did any criminal act or not, it's like a money pit. It's like it's a free fall, and at the expense of people's lives, and that is so sad, so terrible. And one thing I want to pick on, like you said, you spent 7, 8 months in Stewart Detention Center. What was that experience like?
It was horrible. When I first got there, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was confused. When I saw, like, all those people in there, I started panicking. I did suffer from anxiety before going into there, so that wasn't helpful at all. It made me feel 10 times worse. I would cry each night. I started getting sick around like the second, third week of being in there. I started noticing stomach issues, related symptoms. So I would have very bloody stool. I would start like vomiting the food. I started having nightmares. I would have like panic attacks, and I would get rushed out of the room. And it was horrible. It was horrible. We would get screamed at. Most of the time, we would get looked at, differently. Sometimes we would get called names. We would get punished for absolutely no reason. And it was a really horrible experience
Yeah,
in general.
yeah, yeah. I also have stomach issues from the water.
Yeah,
So sore throat, to the
yeah,
point where I said I couldn't even drink this water. I can't drink this water
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I know you experienced certain similar.
I did. I did. Yeah. I did get to. I did get very sick at one point. That I would, like I said, I would cry at night, and I would write the sick calls. I would write to the doctors almost every day if I could, and I would tell them like something's wrong with me. Like I don't know what it is, but something is wrong, and I don't feel good. And I started noticing that my skin started getting pale. I would stop eating. Like I said, I would vomit. And I just started noticing like I was changing. And then with dealing with the physical symptoms, I was also dealing with the anxiety and depression symptoms. And I got to the point where I didn't even go outside. I mean, when it was yard time, I didn't even go outside. I spent like 5, 6 months without going outside because I was very, very depressed.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. I can relate to a lot of them issues. I can relate, and man. So so when you went to medical, how was the medical facility? How they treated y'all? 'Cause I know how they treated us on the male side. You know, they told us on the male side, if you're not bleeding or dying, it's not a medical emergency. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering how they treated y'all on the female
The
side.
exact same thing. I actually, some of the nurses did not know that I spoke English. So I would have like these random allergic reactions for some reason. I don't know. But I would have like itchy skin and then like nose issues, sinuses issues. And so one time I did end up in the medical place. And the nurse was actually very rude. She was very rude, and she was like, she was talking to another nurse in the back, and she was like, well, I don't know why she's here. She's always here all the time. Like, nothing's wrong with this girl. I already told her nothing's wrong. And I mean, I could hear her, what she was saying. And I told the other nurse, she was actually, thankfully, she was actually sweet and she was very understanding. But due to her working for, basically for ICE, she couldn't really do much for me, sadly. So yeah, I was telling her, she's, that nurse over there is very rude. I don't know why she's treating us this way. I mean, I myself, I'm a certified assistant, so I know what it's like to treat, a patient, and that's not the way you should treat someone. You take an oath when you become a nurse, you become a doctor, whatsoever. So I was telling her that's not how you treat someone. That's absolutely insane. What she's saying, and not knowing that I'm understanding what she's telling the other nurse. So yeah, what you experienced, we also did experience. It would take months, weeks, sometimes. People would get sick. I don't know if it was COVID or influenza or what it was, but people would get sick and they would get called into the medical area after they got better. And we would be like, what's the point of us going? We would tell them, what's the point of us going now if we're already better?
Yeah.
You should have attended us when we were very, very sick in the bed, and we couldn't even get up or eat or anything. I mean, we were absolutely sick, and it was just not only one. It was like six of us at the same time that were sick, and they would not pay attention to us.
Yeah. Yeah. They'll tell you to put in a sick call, and by the time you see the nurse and they would decide if they want to send you to the doctor. By the time you see the doctor, everything's all gone. All the symptoms
Yeah.
are gone. Everything, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I did suffer with that a lot since, I would tell them I really need to see the therapist. I really need to see the therapist. I really need to get the therapy in. I'm not doing well mentally. And I would repeat that. I would go crazy repeating that over and over again. And they know better, and they know that I would tell the officer that would, the guard that would take care of us. I would let the office people know. We even told the oh my goodness, what's it called? The head, the person that's in charge of Stewart Detention Center,
The warden.
and the warden. Yes, the warden. We would tell the warden that I needed to see the therapist, that I needed a refill for my medicine. If not, they would have not paid attention. They would have not paid attention to me. And the thing is that in there, um, they would just give you medication. Like, they wouldn't even examine you. They would just give you medication. Like, you'll tell them, my throat hurts, and they're good, and they would be like, yeah, we're just gonna give you, like some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
They would give
Yeah.
ibuprofen a lot
For
to
everything.
people.
For
For
everything.
everything, literally
Ibuprofen.
for everything.
Yes. 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 That's. Oh man, it's so similar. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah,
And you would think that I when I was there, I used to think that on the women's side it was a lot worse because you have women there who have children, and they can't see their children no more. It's devastating. Because I
yeah,
understand as a father, you know they take me and take me away from my family, but at least I know that their mother is there with their children.
Yeah.
But when in a place like that, when you separate mothers from their kids, is I know it's even more hard on the women on that side. So I
It was it was very awful. Especially seeing someone lose their baby in there. It was the worst thing ever. Let me tell you that was just so bad. It was so bad, and it was mentally exhausting just seeing someone bleeding to basically to death and losing the baby in there and them not doing absolutely a thing about it. Very heartbreaking.
oh, wow.
Very heartbreaking.
And I don't know if it's true or not, but we heard from our side, we heard of times where uh, um, a mother was pregnant and she was banging on the door trying to get them because she was going into labor, and she ended up losing the baby right there at the door because she nobody would answer the door, nobody because from our side, you know, once they don't even be in the towers at night, so once you're in your room, it's hard to even get anybody's attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
That's
can
how it was with us.
I can only imagine how it is when it is a woman in labor and
We literally had to knock the heck out of that door. Like we would bang on that door and that glass door on that glass door until somebody heard. We would push on that button, and I mean we would go crazy. And it had to be not just one of us; it had to be all of us for them to come in and do CPR or do something to one of those people that were that needed medical help.
yes, and on our side it was men, but I know it's your side was nothing but women. But there was two nothing but the guards there. There were a lot of young women there who was not prepared for the type of situation they was in.
Yeah, they were not. Yeah, they were not. They would just stand there and not do a thing, not know how to react. I mean, most of those guards, they didn't even. I mean, I think all of them, they didn't even know how to do CPR.
Correct.
They
Correct.
wouldn't even, know how to do CPR, and they would just stand there, watch the person just basically die.
Yes, yes, because a lot of them are very undertrained, and a lot of them are very young, so they don't have the experience if some kind of medical emergency or anything that goes on in there, and they so used to everybody like they think everything's a joke. Everybody's not serious. Too, I understand that they don't even take it. See, somebody literally have to be dying in front of them for them to take it seriously to call somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And even then, they wouldn't even take it that seriously because they would just move at a very slow pace. We did have a really awful incident where the officer, I mean, I was literally about to do CPR on a lady. I literally grabbed the lady and I put her on the floor because she had completely just passed out of nowhere, had no idea what was wrong with her. And I grabbed her arm with another lady, and I'm like, we have to put this lady on her side because if she vomits, then I don't want her to choke on the vomit. So I grabbed her, tried to put her on the side. The officer was like, "No, you can't do that. Back up." I'm like, "Why? This lady is not going. Nothing's gonna happen to this lady. If I'm here, I don't want nothing to happen to her." And she said, "No, you can't do anything." She just like, grabbed me and she's like, "No, you can't." And she backed me up. And I'm like, "What?" And she was just standing there. The medical people didn't come until like 10, 15 minutes after that. And they were so calm. They were not even like rushing or anything. He was just taking his sweet time. And he was just very talkative with the officers, and it was just, I was like angry, 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 angry.
Yes, that's unbelievable and very unacceptable. For, but they tell the public, the detainees are getting the best medical care that they
Yeah,
ever got in their lives.
yeah, yeah.
That's their that's what they say when they are asked about that. And
Yeah, that's what they did. They do that to me all the time when I do interviews. They did that when I did an interview with a Spanish, one of the biggest Spanish channels, and they were saying that I was receiving adequate, health care, and that they were feeding us 3 times a day, which is true. They were feeding us 3 times a day, and they were very healthy meals.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
are you
And
serious?
we both know that that's not the case.
That's not true. Correct.
And it's sad that and sometimes you just sit there like, man, I hope one day somebody just do a surprise inspection, just pop up on them, especially at nighttime. Don't come during the day. Come in the evening when they finish trying to clean everything up, when you can see what's really going on. How they really short of staff. How they they come in there and they play around. They don't take their job seriously. They're too busy gossiping with each other to take anything
Mm-hmm.
seriously. So I get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So after the 7 when you went to court, how did that make you feel when they wouldn't give you voluntary departure? Like when they said they had to deport you, how did that what went through your mind?
Well, when I went to court, like all I saw was like in the visible letters, freedom. That's all I saw. In invisible letters, I saw freedom. I didn't even see, I was going back to the country where I haven't been over 12 years, like none of that. Like I wasn't thinking of anything besides freedom and my health. That's the reason why, I went into court and I asked and I begged the judge and I told him, just please let me go. I said that they needed 2 more months to see if I was eligible for a voluntary departure. And I said, no, I am not doing that. I need my voluntary departure right now. And I told them I am not leaving. It took an hour. We took an hour in court. We were in court for an hour debating if they should let me go or not. And the judge finally granted the voluntary departure. And like I said, all I saw was freedom. I didn't even see nothing else but that word freedom.
So and that's funny that you said that because a lot of people was they had a good chance of fighting their case, but the way they was treated in there, they were just wanted to get out. They're like, if I have to go back somewhere, even if it's not right what they're doing to me, even if I have a case against them, I'm just tired of being here. Just let me go.
Yeah,
Because anywhere that's when you start hearing the saying every day. Anywhere is better than here. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. And I fought my case very hard. I fought with mental issues, physically, mentally and physically ill. Just with a mistreatment and just everything. I fought very hard, but the uncertainty of not knowing, like, because I would not get any answers, and what just made me very upset is that they did classify me as the as an arriving alien. That just made me just think like, what's gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen if I don't leave this place? Is I wouldn't get any answers at all. Like they wouldn't, how they would come in and they would come look at their ICE officers would come in and they would come looking for their people.
Yeah.
They would come in and talk to everyone but me. Like I was just in there just to be in there. Like no one would come looking for me. They would not tell me anything at all, like at all.
So what about this? When they usually say, "Okay, we're gonna give you 30 days, then your ICE officer can come and speak to you, and your ICE officer come to see you every 2 weeks." How often did you see your ICE officer?
I saw him. I mean, just a very few times, and my ICE officer did get changed 3 times. They changed my ICE officers 3 times. So the first one I saw, he's the one that I had the most interaction with. The second one, I saw him once, and then the third, I never even knew who he was. Like I knew his name, but I didn't even see his face or anything. Like I would go when I tell you I would go crazy trying to find my officers. That I got to the point where I spoke to the supervisor. Like, I spoke to the ICE supervisor, and I told him, hey, we got to talk. That's literally how I spoke to him, because I literally I didn't know what to do at that point. And I told him, just please help me, please help me. And that's when I found out that I didn't have the deportation order, that it was a lie whenever the FBI agents came into my house saying that I had a deportation order. Well, that was a lie. I asked the officer. There wasn't a date for me to leave the country. And he did tell me that if it was only up to him, he would have done let me go, because what they did with me was very unfair. It was illegal. It was unfair, and if it was under another administration, then that would have just not happened.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I had an ICE officer tell me, he was like, if we even try to help you out in any way, we could lose our job.
Yeah.
He said, we only here to deport you, and we're not here to help you get bond. We're not here to do anything like that. He said, if he said the same thing. If it was any other administration, you wouldn't even be here this long. You wouldn't have even been here. And now it's like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. So let's the the day they called you out for your deportation, the day you left Stewart. How was that situation?
Thankfully, I was able to leave on a commercial flight. But that wasn't the end of all of it. They took me out on a Sunday at 12 a.m. They put me in a cell, in one of the little cell rooms where it has just the concrete and and the little very unsanitized floor and toilet. They put me in one of those, and they took me to the front area where we come in.
The intake.
Intake, yes. They took me to intake, and they started giving me my clothes that El Refugio, which is Amy, she had sent me. And I was able to get, one pair of pants, a shirt, and my shoes didn't get approved because they told me that the shoes that I had were already okay enough, which were slippers. I had came in with slippers, so I left with slippers. And yeah, they started giving me my belongings. I got my book bag that she has sent me. And they put me back in the room. I was waiting, and I was finally able to get my phone, my charger, and a few things that I had brought with me from my apartment. So I got that, and they started when it was time to go. An officer came to pick us up, and she chained me up, wrist, ankles, and they would always double chain me on my waist, always. So I got double chain on my waist, very heavy chains, and they took us into the van. With me, they put me in a single seat and in one cage. Like, I was in a single cage where I couldn't move at all, with chains all by myself, with the chains and then the cage. I mean, I couldn't do any movement. So it was three ladies, and then the guys were in that cage of the vans. And it was the driver, and then we had the other guard. She was going crazy fast. Like, I thought she was going to kill us at that point.
Oh, wow.
She was going absolutely crazy, and I remember having a really awful panic attack in there, and it was awful. It was awful, and I had not gotten any sleep. They took us out of Stewart around, I think it was like 2 in the morning, 3. We were on our way to the Atlanta offices, the immigration office there in Atlanta. They took me in there, took my chains off, and put me in a cell. And in there, oh my goodness, it was crowded, very crowded. And I was in there with people all types of age, different age. I was actually I was the youngest one in that cell. And there was men in there. I mean, there was no room for anything, not even to sit down. Like, well, you couldn't even sit down in there. So they took me in there, and around 7 in the morning is when the officer called me and told me that I had a flight, and that they were going to take me to the airport. They took me in a van, and I was handcuffed. Didn't take the handcuffs until they actually put me in the plane. Took me in the back of the airport where nobody could see what was going on. They gave my passport to the the people at the plane. The flight attendant, he got my passport, and got that situated. And then right when I got into the plane is when they took my handcuffs off. Oh, wow. And that's when I was finally able to just breathe.
Mm. So, wow. How long was the flight?
The flight was around, I think, 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours.
Okay. Okay. When you got back to when you got to Honduras, how it was like the first thing you did?
It was weird. I had never been on a plane before. I was actually terrified. I had never been on a plane, and it was just weird. I didn't know what to do. I was so confused. I actually got lost in the airport here. There's a few things that I didn't understand, and there's a few things that I don't know how to read in Spanish. So I was like confused on where to go, what to do. So I had to find help. It was my very first time being back after 13 years, and I was just exhausted, tired. I had not slept for a day. I had not eating for a day. I had not showered for a day. So I was like very, very tired. And all I wanted to do was rest.
So when you got back, did you have family you could go to? Did you have
I did have my grandmother, thankfully, and I was able to. We got an interview in with Telemundo, which is one of the famous, Spanish channels, and the lady was very helpful. She was being helpful, and I was able to get situated somewhere for the night.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Oh man, it's heart wrenching. Yeah. Heart wrenching hearing what you went through. So so how has it been? How has life been? I know it took a little rough to get started, but how has it been?
It's rough being here. Very different. Very scary with the things that go on in it here in Honduras. It's not safe. Economically, it's not great at all. And it's very hard, very challenging, very hard. Still struggling a lot mentally. Physically, I'm so much better, thank God. But mentally is very, very challenging, very sometimes very exhausting. I still have to deal with the aftermath, insomnia, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and all that. And yeah, very hard, very hard.
That's very understandable. Very understandable. Yeah, because somewhere that you haven't been, that you don't even have much of a memory of, and you going back there, and you have to fend for yourself, and you have to start life over again. Pretty much start life over again in a new land that you're unfamiliar with, and and what is your plan for the future? Do you or for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, definitely fight my case. Come back home. Come back to my house. The U.S. is I've always said that the U.S. is my first home, even though I wasn't born there. The U.S. has always been my first home because it was the place that took me in as their own. It gave me the opportunity to study, to become who I am today, and that's my plan. Continue to go to school. I also have a scholarship from a private university. So my plan is to continue my studies and become a nurse and hopefully very soon I'm able to see my family that I haven't seen since February of 2025.
Yeah, yes. I hope you're reunited with your family once again because this is this is not this is a horrible it's a horrible situation that and I pray for you. I pray for you. Everything works out because um, being in, I hear Honduras and I hear it's not safe. I have other friends that we deported to Honduras and they tell me it's not a good place to be. And yeah, they find it they're going somewhere else. They're like, well, I'm just gonna be here for a minute and I'm going somewhere else because it's not a place. But yes, you know, hopefully in the next 2 years things gonna change and it'll be a better path. Find your better pathway back. Because how long did they give you? How long did they give you? Like how many years?
They did say that. I mean, I didn't even know that. When I signed the voluntary departure, they didn't even let me know that I would have a 10-year bar.
Oh wow.
Which doesn't make sense because I came in as an 8-year old, so I really, like I didn't
Yeah.
even know exactly what was going on. So they did give me a 10-year bar, but the 10-year bar can get waived
Yeah.
with a pardon.
Yeah.
I can definitely sign and do I qualify for a pardon. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, yes. I hope you fight the case and take advantage of that pardon as soon as possible, as soon as you can, because this is we have to let these people know that it's
Yeah.
you can't just do lives like this. You can't just do lives like you just throw us to the side like we're not important. Because just because y'all want numbers, you
Yeah,
deporting good people just
that's all we are for them.
yeah,
That's all we are for them. It's number, and I get a lot of people. I get a lot of comments and a lot of people. Then why didn't you stay longer? Why did you self deport? Well, I had no other option.
yeah,
I literally had no other option, and I wasn't even eligible for the voluntary departure.
yeah,
So it was a miracle from God that they actually agreed to it because I wasn't eligible for one. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy to accept that you're going to a country where you have been over 13 years. And I made that decision because of my mental health basically, and my physical health was not in a good spot, so I had to make that decision.
yes, 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 and that's understandable because why stay and suffer? Why stay and suffer if you're gonna if they're gonna give me this much time away, I might as well start serving my time now.
Well,
And hopefully in years to come things can change and I can cut that time in half or less. So I understand fully. I understand fully and oh man, I can't even fathom. I feel for you. I feel for you. And if anything I could do, just let me know. And if I can, do you have a lawyer?
I do have a lawyer. We're trying to find a way for me to come back, and he's saying that speaking to a community college or applying to a university that I got accepted into.
Mm.
He told me that I could most likely get a student visa.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing right now. But I'm also trying to, do interviews like this one. Try to get attention again. Try to get attention on my case. So we could get my case in the proper hands and with the student visa, and then having someone from Congress that can back me up, that would be just amazing. So that's what we're trying to do right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll make sure I put this interview out there and let anybody know who's willing to help. They can reach out to me and I can reach out to
Perfect.
you. Anything I can do to help you out it'll be my pleasure. and hopefully one day we can do an interview face to face.
Of
And
course.
and we can celebrate the fact that because we can make a difference. You know, and
Definitely.
me being out here, being able to interview you, is showing that difference can be made, and the fact that they helped me get out, that it's always hope, and we always got to keep up hope and keep the fight, and
Definitely.
and I want to give a shout out to El Refugio because they helped you, and they helped. It was very instrumental with me being here right now. So um, when I finish with the interview, I'll reach out to them, see what else they can do to help, and I'm gonna get this to every organization that I know and see what they can do. And maybe you might get another interview, more interviews, and maybe you can get this thing spread nationally, so some actions can get done, and this interview will fall into the right person's hand, who will be able to do something for you.
Thank you, Ronnie. I really appreciate it. It's very a very pleasure to meet you. Like I was telling you, I've been trying to reach out to you, and I even spoke to Amy, and I told her I really need to reach out to him. I know that if he interviews me or we talk or whatnot, then we're gonna make a difference. Not only for us, but we're advocating on for the other people that are detained, that are being wrongfully detained. So it's amazing that we're able to do this, and that we're both willing to cooperate and work together to advocate for all the
Absolutely,
immigrants.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, and anything you need, just I'm just a phone call away, and I will do my best on from the side I'm on to advocate for you as well. And
Thanks.
this not gonna be our last time talking. So so just anytime if you need anything, just give me a shout out. If you need me to reach anybody for you, just give me a shout out, and I'll be happy to make connections. I'll be happy to do anything. All right.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate all your help.
oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And if there's any last thoughts before we hand, would you like to leave the people? Any last comments you would like to leave?
No, that's all. Other than like you were saying, with the refugio, I'm very appreciative of them and everything that they did for advocating on my behalf, especially Amy. Amy Spencer from El Refugio. She worked a lot, and she would come visit me, and everyone else that was out there, that's still there. And still trying to find a way for me to come back home, and just a shout out to you for making this happen, and then for hearing me out and taking the time to interview me. It really means a lot to me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a lot to me as well. Thank you. And I hats off to you for having the courage,
Thank you.
because it takes a lot of courage for somebody to tell their story and to relive, a lot of this. Because even me, when I tell my story and tell certain people, I don't think gonna get me emotional till I actually start
Yeah.
telling it. Then it's like you reliving it all over again. And it's sometimes it hurts. It still hurts. And I know you still going through some of it too as well. But we gonna make changes out here. We're gonna make changes out here. And like I said, once again, thank you, and great to have you. It was great to have you today. And to the next time we meet, you have a great day. You have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. You too.
All
You
right.
too. I hope you have a good day as well. And
All
thank
right.
you for the interview.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh man, that was deep. How'd it go?
Tell us.
Um, it was. It's very emotional because when you hear from I never interviewed somebody from the other side, from the female side of things. So everybody I talked to was from males, and they was in my unit. So we all had the same perspective. But hearing this coming from a female on how they treated you in there, and the fact that she didn't commit any crime. She didn't commit a crime at all. This woman here was they came. It's like somebody coming and beating our door and looking for somebody who don't live here, and they see that you're an immigrant and they just take you. And that's oh man, that's a crime within itself. And to see that, to hear that from her, and then you start to think like, how many more other stories like her are there out there that are just taking you from your family for no reason whatsoever, and they don't even give you due process. They just you want to use you as a number for a deportation number, and they turn your whole life upside down and send you to a place where you know Honduras is a terrible country as far as the crime rate, as far as the everything about it that I've heard. Grown men was scared to go back to Honduras. So to see this young woman go through this is heart wrenching. It's heart wrenching.
What's Can you tell us the purpose of these interviews?
Just so we can let the world.
Or just from the very idea, like when did you have the idea? Where you got the idea? What you're trying to achieve?
When I got out, doing interviews wasn't even on my mind. I started receiving so many phone calls from people who got deported, and they was just so thankful that I got out, and and they're so thankful that I got out that I'm saying to myself, yeah, I appreciate it, but look at what about you? You are in a place that you don't want to be. You was forced to go to a country that you really don't know nothing about, or you left for. Everybody left their country for a reason to come to America, and the overwhelming love and support that I got, I felt like I had to do something. You know, I was given a second chance. So much is much is given as much is required. So I was given a second chance. So I feel like it's required of me to try to give back to the people who didn't get that chance, and at least letting their stories be heard is my way of giving back to them. Let their voices be heard. And then you start hearing things like, I didn't. There was only deporting criminals. There was only you people who deserve to get deported. But then stories like this let you know that that's not the case. There's a lot of people, good people out here that's losing their lives, losing their families over nothing, just to be a number, and that has to change. So I feel like if if I need to be a catalyst for change, you know, the publicity of me being the one person who got away, I'm willing to risk that to tell the stories of everybody who didn't get a second chance. Everybody, somebody has to tell their stories, and somebody has to be the one to start get a spark out there to let them know that things have to change. You know what they're doing in America is not right, and this is a country that I love. You know, I wouldn't be able to walk if it wasn't for this country. I wouldn't be able to have a family if it wasn't for this country. And the fact that the people that you love, the place that you love so much, is doing human beings this way, it's gut wrenching, and it has to stop. It has to stop, and I feel like I have to do something about it. And
I was thinking, you know what, we could just so that we